Hi, parents, teachers, kids, whoever might be stuck home right now doing something that we've never had to do before. This is Sara and Donna. Well, I'm Sara.
I'm Donna.
Yeah. And we're curriculum consultants with Rainbow Resource Center. And Rainbow Resource Center, we work with homeschooling families. And you know, even homeschooling families are out of their routine right now.
Oh, definitely. Can't get to their co-ops, can't get to their groups that they go to.
Because believe it or not, they're not always home.
No, they're not home.
They're busy folks.
That's right.
So we thought it would be really helpful with teachers giving the kids assignments and, you know, everybody's doing the best they can. We carry a lot of materials and we carry toys and games and dress up clothes and art supplies, all of those good things you could be doing right now in addition to your work as well. But, you know, we also have some really amazing supplements that can enrich and offer a nod to those things that teachers add to their classroom every day that, you know, it's hard to just send home or in a packet or over an email.
Well, or things that some of you homeschool families may already have at home that you've been using to enhance your curriculum, but we just want to remind everybody what might be available. And these are just a few. We're only going to talk about a few of them
Got
today.
10, 12 products to show you.
Exactly.
So one thing, this topic actually is social studies. And social studies includes geography and history, American and world history, communities, what else? Did I cover it?
It actually covers a whole lot more once you get into the higher levels, but we're going to focus more on middle school, elementary school.
So one thing that is super versatile, very visual, very hands-on, are puzzles.
Love
And
puzzles.
This series from GeoPuzzle, there's a load of different continents if you want to go that way. Or you could get the big honking set of 6 GeoPuzzles. And the GeoPuzzles, I really like that they put, so this is Latin America. Each of the countries is its own piece. So kids are learning the name, the shape. Here's Venezuela, Bolivia, Argentina. And they're learning the shape, they're learning the location, the context. It's fun, it's a nice sturdy cardboard material and colorful. And you know what? You take it apart, you put it together again, you assemble the whole world, and you've got a very visual teaching tool.
And you can't visit the world, so you might as well bring the world
Right, we
into
can't
your
go
home,
anywhere.
right? So if you have kids who like to do jigsaw puzzles, these are the state puzzles.
In a can.
In a can. They look like a little chip can. And they're magnetic pieces.
Cool, so you could do them on a cookie sheet,
Exactly.
on the fridge.
On front of the fridge. Each one is 100 pieces. And they just, and you get to
They're really
see,
detailed.
these aren't just like just a shape of the state.
Right.
They show you all the roads. They show you the towns and
Water,
I know, right there.
yeah.
There's Clarksville, Tennessee. My grandma was from there. So you have, it shows a lot of detail, almost like a road map.
Yeah.
And so these are kind of nice, maybe even for your little bit older students.
Absolutely, yeah. Those are really fun. So you could talk about reading maps once you put those together and you know, where you've been. But you can also, something people do with social studies is a lot of times they'll start with your town and then your state and then your region and then your nation and your continent. So this would be a way of just teaching geography in general, starting with your state.
Well, or if you're in a state that requires a state study
Absolutely.
of your own state, this would be perfect to go with your state study.
Talk about novelty. Isn't it just the cutest little thing?
Exactly.
I love this one too. This is the Magnetic USA, and I like that it's contained. It's actually taped shut, but it's contained. So you open it up, and that's your background. The pieces, there's outline shapes, and you're learning like a couple of products that are each state is known for. So that's for younger kids. This is another magnetic one that's kind of cool. So this is like a vinyl magnetic sheeting. These are actually wood. And on each piece, so here's New Mexico on the top. You see the capital, the state flower, the state bird, the state nickname, when it was admitted to the Union, and the population. That's a really neat set. That's going to
That's a
last
nice
you a
one.
long time. I like this one, though, because I think the magnetic pieces would be good on the go.
Exactly.
You know, when
Use
we're
it in the
allowed to
car.
go again.
Now, when you're not in the car, you can always get an inflatable globe. Maybe you're that family, you just don't have room to have a globe that sits around, or they're a little more pricey.
They are.
You can get an inflatable globe to learn the countries and learn their location and be able to name them on the different continents. They come in different sizes. They come in, like this one is clear, this one is white, this one is blue, a little bit bigger, but these are a great tool. Now,
They really
the
are,
other thing
yeah.
that you could do with this, there's a real fun game you can play. So you blow up the inflatable globe and you stand in a circle, which I know you're not allowed to do that right now, but you could do
6-foot
this with
circle.
your family members, and you throw it to a person in the circle, and wherever their finger, their pointer finger or their thumb you pick, whatever that lands on when you catch it, you have to be able to either name it, or you have to be able to tell something about it, a fact about it. It just becomes a fun game. We used to use these for things like that, or name a person who came from that country if you know.
Ooh.
That could be a little bit harder, but it gets the bigger kids in on it
And I'm
too.
sure no one has ever played dodgeball with an inflatable globe
Oh gosh,
ever.
no, never.
No,
Right?
that doesn't happen.
No.
So let's talk about some map skills books. I've got something really unique. This is the Draw K-12 series. And they're kind of cool. They're like for upper elementary, maybe middle school. They're pretty detailed. And so this one is Draw Canada and Greenland. And you're learning about the different regions, cities, and you're finishing the drawing. So some are going to be a little more challenging, but you know, it's hard to find stuff about Canada.
Well, and it's nice because it's drawing.
It's drawing.
So for that artsy child
Right.
that wants a little bit, a little bit more, and they want to doodle,
Yeah.
these are great.
Or if you're doing a unit study, which is a very homeschool thing to do, this is something parents can do at home. A unit study is a topical diving in. I mean, so let's say you're studying Canada and you're studying products of Canada and regions of Canada and people from Canada. This would be something you would add, and that would be a unit study. Here's one on the whole of Africa and Asia. Here's an Asia. There's 2 volumes of Asia. And then this is kind of cool. This is American art history.
Oh, nice. Wow, you
They've
can't visit
expanded.
museums right now.
I know, you can online, but that's not the same as interacting with some of these
Right.
things. So that is a really neat series, the Art K-12.
Well, mine isn't quite as creative, but they are map skill workbooks. So map skills, these come from Scholastic, so some of you may already be familiar with them. And this is grade 6 on the top, but they're grade 1 through 6. And we had talked about this earlier, how sometimes you start closer to home, and this is finding your way. So this is kind of your neighborhood, that's grade 1. Grade 2 is more, take a trip with us. So we're gonna travel a little bit. And then grade 3, maps across America. Now we've reached out to America, and then this is traveling abroad. And the Americas in focus. Now this is going to be North and South America, not just North America. And then this one is all around the world. So they broaden as they do it. Now when they do these books, though, they're full of great colored pictures. They're super for like just facts. They give you all kinds of facts for each place that they're talking about, and they are consumable.
And very
There's-
self-directed.
There's a place to write answers to the questions, and there are no tricks here. All of the information is in the book. They're not asking you to go get something else to do it.
Yeah.
So work on those map skills. Sometimes that's what gets left out.
It is, yeah,
of a
especially when you're
program,
working on
so
your math and science and
Those are good.
melee.
This is another one. Okay, so we were talking to Laura before we started about geography songs.
Laura's behind the camera.
Yes, Laura's behind the camera, and these were used when she was homeschooled, and she still can name countries because of the songs that are on here. Again, this is an audio memory product. You want to work on states and capitals? Here you go. Laura was telling us that these are done by region, so they're not like in alphabetical order or anything like that. Is that right, Laura? They're done more by region, so when you talk about regions of our country, they break it down for
What
you. It's in
states
there.
border,
And
yeah.
it's to music, so you'll remember. So how awesome is that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if she were over here, we would just have her hum a few bars of it
I
for her,
know.
but
She
she
wouldn't
just
sing
can't.
for us, dang
No,
it.
she wouldn't.
What are
But
you gonna
these,
do?
again, enhance it for those auditory learners, because sometimes it's just not enough to see it in a book.
So they could be doing some of those geo puzzles, maybe the Art K-12s, and listening to this. And
Exactly.
boy, are you getting a variety of
Exactly,
senses.
exactly.
Okay. So a game series that we carry, and they have science, social studies, animals, all these interesting fun topics are the Professor
I
Noggin.
love Professor Noggin. Always kept him in my classroom.
Yeah. So what's really cool about Professor Noggin is that all of the questions, it's just a card game, a Q&A game, but there's questions for little kids and big kids on the same cards.
Exactly.
So you can really mix ages. They got a makeover recently, so this is what the newer versions look like.
Okay.
Yeah. And these are ages 7 and plus. Two or more kids can play, but I think it might be cheating, but I would have liked to just read the cards when I was a kid.
I would leave these out, and you can
Stack
do
the
this
deck.
too. Just leave them
Yeah.
out where your kids can get a
Little
hold of
dice.
them, where they can just pick them up when they have a spare minute,
Yeah.
and you can put one out that matches whatever topic you're studying.
Right.
This is Wonders of
Wonders,
the World,
Countries.
of the World. I think there used to be 2 of those, but that way they can just pick them up, play when they have some free time.
Right, right. So not everybody is an artist or wants a workbook. We've got a lot of readers out there, and social studies
sure.
lends itself to reading about people. And this is a series, the Who Was biographies.
It's a
Now,
good
I'm holding a
series.
great big stack of them. This is like 1/10 of what's available. They're
Exactly.
just fantastic. They're really recognizable by these caricatures on the front. Who is Chuck Jones, Clara Barton, Claude Monet. You can tell I kind of just picked alphabetically here. Fidel Castro, Frank Lloyd Wright, Franklin Roosevelt. This is an interesting one. This is a little activity book.
Oh, okay.
And it just adds, some thoughtful questions, nothing too hard, but they're multi-category, scientists, inventors, flyers, just all kinds of interesting puzzles and games that go with the
Nice.
Who Was series. But just read them too. There's also the What Was, the Gold Rush. Here's a Who Was, Charles Dickens. There's also a Who Is series. So these are all people who have passed. There's also
Okay.
a Who Is series.
Good series. I know we've taken those to conventions, and they're very
Hotcakes.
popular.
There's always a kid sitting reading them.
Well, in that same vein, we have a lot of history, geography type readers, biographies. This is the National Geographic Readers series. These
They're
are
gorgeous.
leveled readers.
Yeah.
So if you're not quite sure what level you are, I know we have these on our website.
Mm-hmm.
What level? But they use actual photographs with facts about each
Nonfiction.
person. Yeah, exactly. Which again is a Common Core guideline.
Not a bad one. Not a bad guideline.
So you have like people like Rosa Parks, Walt Disney.
Neat.
Which
you
right
can't relate.
now, his family's staying home
Gotta
too.
get it how we can,
So,
yep.
and along that same line, another leveled reader series is the I Can Read series. And again, you have all of these famous characters: Alexander Hamilton, Martin Luther King. These are all really good, super affordable, good enhancements, good supplements. If you want to read a little bit more, sometimes their child might say, "Oh, mommy," and ask you more questions about a person. This is a great opportunity.
Right. And it's a way to expand on what your teacher has provided. Normally, we might go to a library and find these sort of things.
Can't do that now.
Here's a resource for you. I've got some a little different in the reading category. And I loved that graphic Shakespeare. If you watched the ELA video, these are graphic library history. And just to show you, so here's Marco Polo. They're little books, but some kids are reluctant readers. And I remember my brother being a reluctant reader, and his reading specialist in grade school said, give him comic books.
Exactly.
It's still reading. It's the context of the story. It's pulling them through the plot, and it's the character development. This is they're super exciting and kind of that realistic-y comic book look. They're not cutesy. Here's the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And I don't know if these are targeted to boys, but there's a lot of battle ones. Battle of the Alamo. There's the Buffalo Soldiers one. And then here's the interesting Betsy Ross and the American flag. How do you make that exciting? Well, you're talking about revolutionary times and what that looked like and what was going on in America when Betsy Ross made her flag. So an interesting option. They're called graphic library history.
Very popular too. This is another one of our popular series. You
So
wouldn't want
funny.
to. This is you wouldn't want to be, or you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to be in a certain place or during a certain period of time. They're very fact-based, but they're
I'll
also
open one up.
they're also like super engaging because the pictures they have
They're
they have
hilarious.
illustrations to make to tell you
They're
the
so
fact.
funny.
So you're gonna learn about what it was like to live in that time period. And when it says you wouldn't want to be a medieval knight, they tell you all the reasons why
And
you
doesn't
wouldn't want to
that
be.
make you want
And
to know
it's
more?
armor you'd rather not wear,
Yeah.
right? Because you're going, why? Why would I not want to wear
Yeah.
that?
Why
right?
wouldn't I want to be a Greek athlete? Why wouldn't I want to be a crusader?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they tell you they give you some of the reasons why, hey, this is dangerous. You
Yeah.
don't want to be doing that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And very cartoony looking, so, reluctant reader again, but not necessarily. I would have thought these were hilarious, and I loved reading. So, okay, so hands-on wise, some kids are artsier than others, and the artsy ones can just go do what they want to do, right? They can make something, build something, whatever. Sometimes you need a little more lead, and I think these are so cool.
These are really helpful. They're great to stick with your curriculum, but they're super hands-on for those kids that learn that way.
Yes. Okay. So famous figures. It has body parts of famous people, and they're of different eras. So this one is ancient times, and here's the 5 people that you've got on this one. And so there's some biographical information, and then you are actually assembling, not a paper doll, but it's you
One of the
join them with those
characters.
little fasteners, those little brads. One of the characters. So here's. I just think they're just so funny. Khufu, Pharaoh of Egypt. So you've got colored ones, you've got uncolored ones, and here is Sargon, the great Akkadian emperor.
Oh,
What? Who? What?
So you're going to learn about people that probably
Yeah.
aren't in all of your books.
And then once you've got them all put together, tell a story, tell some historical event, do a biography, do some sort of funny video, do a TikTok video with your guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, and they've one for medieval times. Here's one for the Civil War. A lot of people like to read about the Civil War. Here's the Renaissance period, and American Revolution seems to be a hot topic too. So
Famous figures.
those
Yep.
are a great series to help you out. Now, this is a favorite of mine. You could tell I grab a lot of this stuff and it's like, oh, these are things I've
love
used.
these.
I
Yeah.
love these. History pockets, and some of you may have already used them. I use these to enhance curriculum in about the 5th, 6th grade level, but they write them for the 4th to 6th grade level. They also write them for the grade 1 through 3. They are awesome. They're exactly what the title says, History Pocket. You make a pocket, and then you do the different projects and fit them into your pocket, and they all come with
like a folder,
information.
right?
Exactly. And they all come with with information and facts about whatever it is that you're writing about. So this one is Life in the Plymouth Colony, and you have all of the topics here. You have pocket 1. So in this one, you have 8 pockets. And each pocket will have a different topic in it. So, like the pocket 1 has the voyage to the New World. And so everything that you make has something to do with the voyage to the New World.
And when you say make, I mean, we're
It's
talking
cut out, color, and paste.
cut and paste, not
Yes.
go to the hardware store and buy
Oh,
this
gosh,
or that.
no. This is just cut it out, color it, or color it and then cut it out,
Yeah.
paste it, put it in your pocket. My suggestion is have them take a 3-ring notebook, and they can do it punch them so that they can go into the notebook, so you can actually go back to your pockets.
Okay.
Let them decorate the notebook so that it's like, this is my notebook about Native Americans. They could have a notebook on each thing. If you want them to glue it right into a composition book, they could glue their pocket onto just notebook paper in a composition book. Then you don't have to worry about punching it and putting it into a notebook.
Right. And these are the kind of things that teachers are coming up with in the classroom to teach social studies that parents might just not know how
Well,
to get started.
I will say this. These are very popular at homeschool conventions. There are a lot of you homeschoolers out there who are using these
Yeah.
already.
But it's from
so it's a
Evan Moore.
perfect
Yeah.
time. It's a perfect time to be using them. And now, for those of you who are a little more crafty,
builders.
the builders in the group, these great little wooden models. And I know these are just a few of them. There are more. This is a log cabin. So build a log cabin if you're learning about let's
Abraham
say,
Lincoln.
or you're learning about life in the Plymouth colony, because you
Yeah.
probably you probably have to, they had to make houses too, and I'm
Yep.
sure they weren't a
There's
whole
a
lot different.
frontier fort, too.
There's a frontier fort,
Yeah.
Old West Fort.
I have a covered wagon.
She has a covered wagon. That could be for westward expansion if you're studying,
or if you're reading Laura Ingalls.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of different ones of these. I know we have several other kits like this. They're super affordable.
Yeah.
And you'd be amazed at the amount of time that you can spend. Especially if you have a child who really gets into building.
Yeah.
They could spend a good amount of time doing
And
this.
a little different from just the Lego. I love
Exactly.
Lego, but this is something a little different. Maybe they haven't done before. They go together with wood glue, a little sandpaper, maybe a hammer, just some acrylic paint, which is not included, but you've got all this stuff to build it.
Exactly. Okay, one we don't want to leave out. Don't
Last
forget
game.
about your games. Games are always great, and so if you have any of like Ticket to Ride games already, those are great. Don't forget the games you already have.
Right.
But there are good games that are coming out all the time, and this one comes from Outset Media. It's called Explore the World. It's a game of who, where, and what. So you're going to learn facts from everywhere you go. You pull out the questions, you answer the questions, you move around the game board.
Ages 7 and up.
So this won't be for your younger ones because you're talking about world geography. But don't forget that you have games. Games are great enhancements to whatever you're teaching today.
Lots of application of what they've learned.
Exactly. Games are great. And you know what? You can always adapt a game if it's not exactly what you want it to be. You
Yeah,
can
make it
always
work
change
for you. That game doesn't own you.
Exactly. I
So
agree.
those are some really great suggestions for social studies, history, math skills. And, build on what your teachers are giving you, but make it easy for the parents at the same time, because this is just new waters for everyone to navigate here. And you can always call us at Rainbow Resource, and we'll be happy to give you some suggestions.
In
too.
this day and age when you can't get out and visit or go to museums or travel, when you can't really travel, you might as well bring the world into your home.